come to order, call to order at 6 o'clock. And we will have roll call. I am Lawrence Drone, Chair. Jaime Sanchez is not here this evening. Samantha Soto.
Here.
William Martin.
Here.
Katie Jane Trout, not present. Lisa Sarmiento.
Here.
All righty. If all of us would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. On our agenda this evening for September 18th, we have approval of agenda. We've gotten the agenda from July 17th, the last meeting, and most of you might have it. Items may be added to the agenda in accordance with section 54954.2B of the Government Code upon a determination by 2/3 vote of the members present, or if less than 2/3 of the members are present, a unanimous vote of those members present, that there is a need to take immediate action, and that need for action come to attention of the council reposting the agenda. Recommendation. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as published?
Aye.
Who's going to second?
I'll second.
Second. We have motion, we have second. We have approval for the minutes.
Aye.
Aye.
Approval? I have 4 ayes for approval of the minutes. And now we're going to go to item number 6 for public comment on matters on agenda and non-agenda items. Anyone wishing to address the council on matters not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council, may do so at this time. Each member of the public shall have 3 minutes, and I have the clock. The council chair has discretion to reduce speaking time to 2 minutes per speaker to ensure everyone can address the council. Under the Ralph M. Brown Act, the council may not act on any matter not on the agenda, but council may provide a brief response or refer a matter to staff for follow-up. And I want to mention tonight that Ruben is not here tonight, so there won't be a lot of questions directed towards them because he's not here. But Crystal's going to be able to answer the questions as best as possible for this evening. Just want to make sure we understand that. And then I'm looking at the public comments, and one of the first ones I see here is Jennifer Quinn, and you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Municipal Advisory Council, MAC of Nuevo.
Can you turn your microphone on, please?
Oh, sure. Press that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marshall John.
I'm not technically.
No worries.
I'm other things. I'm here to propose that under the collection and disposal of animal carcasses, recorded contract agreement dated June 16th, 2020, along with the existing gap of time agreement in place to date, between the Riverside County Animal Shelters and Armando Martin Jr., DBA TLC Animal Removal Services, contract signed off by county supervisors in regards to animal shelter pickup of euthanized cats and dogs, referring to page 18 of 22 of recorded contract with the County of Riverside. Exhibit A, may I? I can't see with my glasses on, I have problems for reading. So, Exhibit A, scope of services from contractor, item B stating, shall dispose of animals using the rendering method or by sanitary means. I propose the language to be implemented and added to the existing contract and all contracts moving forward to state with the exception of all cats and dogs using the rendering method. This way, there is no confusion with the public's trust in regards to multi-billion-dollar rendering businesses that make products and resell to the public from euthanized shelter animals. So I do have the contract here. I wanted to go ahead and for the record, and I do have my statement here for the record as well. Do you have any questions?
What is rendering?
Rendering, believe it or not, is a process where they take the euthanized animals and they take them to a plant. One of the biggest ones is in Los Angeles, and they've got quite a bit of a contract with the animal shelters. And they take the carcasses and they boil them and they put them in products and resell them to the public. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. So this is why I do believe we have so many euthanized animals. We have an incentive in the back. So all we need is proper language implemented, and that will cure this business. And I think there will be a lot less euthanized animals as well.
All right, thank you, Jennifer.
Let me give this to you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Okay.
So this is the contract with the county recorder.
All righty. Next up, I see here Tanya Gonzalez.
Good evening, members. Thank you for your time. I want to talk about two items, which was the last two items I talked about last time that I was here. First off was a big thank you to the district for the robotics club. It was a success. We had it held in August with the texting club, and I did ask for to kind of do like a little survey to kind of get just the feedback from the community to see if they would like to see if we could figure out how to bring more clubs in. The questions I asked, did you enjoy the program? Everyone said yes. Was this your child's first robotic class? Everyone said yes. What age group was in? Mostly it was 8 to 9 year olds. Would your family be interested in another club? Everyone said yes. If so, which kind? A lot of was for game building. And some comments that they liked of the club was the hands-on activity, how to build a robot, and was excited that they were able to use the robot. And then some comments that they left would really love to have another class like this. My son really enjoyed it. We're so grateful that our children were able to experience this type of activity as a small town. We rarely get these type of opportunities. The staff was amazing and the kids had so much fun. So thank you very much for that. I also am still with the Stone Ridge Awareness. I held a virtual. We didn't have too much of a show up, but I'll still just kind of keep on holding those. In that time, we've been passing out flyers mostly in the new communities and getting our count up. Right now, our petition is at 517. I will leave this as kind of more like a brochure with information. This is just more like a flyer that we're displaying out in the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tanya. All righty. Okay, next up here, we have Selena. I can't pronounce your last name, Selena. I don't want to mess it up. You can say it.
Hi, good evening. It's Selena Kelleher. I'm with EPD Solutions. I am here along with Jason Lee, who was here last July at the MAC meeting with RCCD. We represent a foundation general plan amendment project within the Nuevo area, and it's approximately 400 acres at the northeast corner of Ramona Expressway and Bridge Street. At the last MAC meeting, we announced that we were going to be having a community open house, which we did host on July 29th. We passed out flyers here at the MAC, and we also distributed the mailing list to the county notification radius for their standard noticing. We had that meeting on July 29th. We had a good turnout of approximately 20 people. We did a PowerPoint presentation where we did an overview of our project site, where we're at in the process, where we need to go. and had good question and answers, questions from the community and answers that were provided. We also distributed our Gmail address, which is lakeview.community.feedback@gmail.com, and distributed our PowerPoint presentation after the meeting to the neighborhood. And we encourage anyone that's interested in the project. I have cards, and I'll be here throughout the meeting, and we'll still be back in front of the MAC formally. And want to also let everybody know that on Monday, September 22nd, so this coming Monday at the Board of Supervisors hearing, our application will be on the agenda for the board. And so you're welcome to participate either virtually or in person at that meeting, and just want to provide more information.
What is the intent of your project?
The intent is a foundation general amendment from agriculture to community development light industrial.
How much square footage in light industrial?
The total subject site is 400 acres. There are a variety of site constraints, an earthquake fault, a floodplain, and a bunch of technical studies that we'll need to get into to narrow down the size, but it'll approximately be half of that, about 200 acres potentially for a site plan, but to be determined.
When are you intending to bring this in front of the MAC?
At this point, I don't have a schedule, but we'll definitely be involved in the process. Depends on if we even get approval on Monday.
Question?
Yeah, now this, just to be clear, and I remember you from the open house, this is the proposed light industrial warehouse that's over on Remote Expressway. This is not Stone Ridge, just so everybody's clear on that. The biggest question I think that came up at that meeting was the migrating birds. You guys are directly in the path. Has that been mitigated at all or discussed?
It has not, it was a comment that we received. We did check in with our biologist on that. They did say California is a pathway for migration for birds, and that any spillover effects or things that we can integrate into the site plan will need to be considered, and there will be a thorough process in which we work with the county, the RCA, and the wildlife agencies.
And you've talked to California Fish and Game about the wetlands and how you'll...
We will be going through that process. We have not formally.
The answer is no. The answer is no.
Okay.
They spoke with, according to her statements, they've spoken with their biologist. However, they have not engaged California Fish and Game and have not done their due diligence with that aspect.
Okay, is that planned to happen?
Yes, we will be doing that.
Do you have a time frame?
There's a process in which we have a HANS application that's currently in review with the county, determines any conservation areas. We're wrapping up our full general biological assessments, any focus surveys for any specific species. Then all those reports will get routed out to CDFW, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and the Regional Water Quality Control Board.
If you had all your approvals today and nothing standing in your way, when are you looking at starting construction?
So permits in hand?
If you had everything ready to go, when are you expecting to start construction?
I don't think I can answer that right now.
So you're basically waiting for the BOS approval on Monday?
The foundation general plan amendment, which I think there'll be a presentation on today and which we touched upon at the outreach meeting, is just the first step in the process. We then have 6 months to formally submit our application into the county. It'll then get reviewed through the county agencies and eventually scheduled for potentially a planning commission and a board of supervisors meeting. So we're still very early in what could be a long process.
So to clarify to everybody in the room, if you've listened to John Hillebrand speak at many of the meetings before, this has to follow the normal process that he's discussed about all the different things. So the simple takeaway is that they're still in the very beginning stages of this. However, the concern that I brought up at the last MAC meeting was that whether it's this or any other project, it starts to begin to set a prior precedent that allows Stone Ridge. So just want the community to be aware and cognizant of one, of the process, two, the time frame, and then three, what this impact could be moving forward.
Yeah, because it's going to be out there on the bridge in Ramona Parkway. It's out that way, but it does consist of what we're looking at here at the warehouse situation on Stone Ridge.
Well, I would like to say, first off, thank you so much for that meeting, because it was very informative. I did go, and I did get a lot of questions out that some of them got answered, some of them didn't, and that's okay, because I know you guys are in the early process right now. I would like to say though that when they presented the PowerPoint presentation, it's really not like, Stone Ridge is talking about a huge amount of warehouses. They are not talking about a huge, and they want storefronts in front. So they're talking about, some buildings more toward the back, but I know that the concern too was the lake and the ground there that might give way. So the amount of acreage that they have right now may be cut down to an extreme amount. Because of the way the land is right now. So we're still, like I said, they're still in the early stages, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for that meeting, because it was very informative.
And to Samantha's point, great information, appreciate the feedback on that. And while there may not be an exorbitant amount of warehouse as compared to Stone Ridge, any warehouse that is allowed to come in sets a prior precedence for more warehouse to be brought in. So that is the point that everybody needs to be cognizant of. It cannot be a tick for tack, if we do for them, then we have to do for them. So we as a community have to look at this very hard based upon what information is provided, and we have to make the decisions what does and does not make sense. The community's voice across the board has been pretty much no warehouses.
Right.
But, like I said, to your point, from a development standpoint, any type of warehouse, quite honestly, is gonna be a tough sell just because of what the community's, vision for its home is. So just keep that in mind as you're proceeding through the process.
Yeah, we did discuss that as well. Oh, that's right.
All right, thank you, and thank you for everyone that attended.
Thank you very much. All righty. So that's the end of our public comments, and we thank all of you who participated in that. Next up now, we have action items, reports, and information calendar. The council and the public will receive reports and updates from staff, county departments, and local agencies. All reports and information items are automatically received and filed once presented with no action by the council anticipated. A brief public Q&A with the department agency representative will take place following each report or information item. Members of the public are asked to observe a 1-minute time limit, which may be extended by the council chair if time permits. And before we do the next item, action item, I want to make sure that I made this notation here that Dennis Acuna, Transportation, had an emergency and will not be here. And also the representative from Dr. Corey Jackson's office will not be here as well. So, next up, we're going to have an increase.
Sorry, Lord.
Yes.
Dennis Acuna is not here. Do we know what his subject matter was? Was it something that should be covered in his absence, or?
I have to ask the council.
I do
district.
have a brief update on the beautification.
Okay,
Yes, and I'll be
Just
sharing
on
that
Dennis.
during my update.
okay, but Dennis is transportation, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, he let us know just that he wasn't able to make it today. He did have an emergency.
Okay, so what he was talking about isn't critical, or else somebody else can.
I'm sure.
Thank you. Okay, so next up, we're going to have an expansion of our MAC, Municipal Advisory Council. And we're going to appoint a new MAC member. His name is Reginald Harden. He's a 19-year resident of Nuevo, and he's going to be sworn in today by Crystal Reza, and she can come at this time.
Come on up here.
Come up here, Reza.
So we'll just have you stand here right before the MAC, and then we're gonna repeat, you can repeat after me. So, I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. and that I will well and faithfully discharge well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. And then I'll just have this.
And Reggie, once you get done there, you'll come up and sit up here to my right.
Welcome.
And for all of you who have not met him, you'll know meet him after the meeting, but he's a 19-year resident of Nuevo, loves horses for all those of you who ride horses, has a great long background with history with a rodeo, just a terrific guy, terrific resident, terrific friend, and I want to say this, he's one of us. He's a Nuevo citizen. And so welcome, Reggie, to the MAC, and we're looking forward to your input on the things that we're going to be talking about here and further meetings. Thank you. Would you like to address the crowd? If you take 30 seconds.
No, I would like to say.
Get your mic on, so I can get your mic.
There you go.
I would like to say thank you all for having me, and I'm here to do the job to keep Nuevo the way we all love, the way we all planned. Like I said, I've been here 19 years, but I've been coming to Nuevo almost 30-some years, where we used to be able to bring our kids in rodeo, have fun. The homeless was not even homeless here; it was not even heard of. So I'm trying to get it back the way it was, so we can all live freely. So that's what I'm here for.
Thank you, Rick. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. County Department staff reports. Presenters must direct their report to the council. At the conclusion of the presentation, chair may allow questions that are limited to 1 minute. Each speaker must first be recognized by the chair. And first up, we have Captain Lamb.
Good evening, everyone. Captain Lamb out of the Paris Station. Just go over some stats here for Nuevo community here last month. Overall, for our Paris Station, we handled just under 6,800 calls for service, with 218 of those in the Nuevo community. As far as our Part 1 crimes that we report to the FBI, it was actually pretty low this month. We had 3 assaults, 3 thefts, and 4 stolen vehicles, and 4 arrests were made in the community, looks like related to those assaults. So that's all I got for stats. Anybody have any questions for me? I was talking to CHP a minute ago about whether we're going to do more off-road operations. I kind of do them based on complaints I get, and I haven't heard anything in a while. So I'm guessing it's slowed down a little bit.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed? Okay. All right. Like I said, it's all based on complaints we get. If I don't hear anything, I assume it's quiet, but...
I'll make the same complaint I always do. You're welcome to come camp out at the corner of Central and Rosary anytime you want, and because it happens every Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
All right. Yes, sir.
What kind of luck are, I guess, you having at completion rate on all the mailboxes being broken into?
As far as... I can't really say the conviction rate.
The reason I'm saying the post office says there's been a lot of arrests made over the last year.
So when we make arrests on some of these mail thieves, generally it stems from a traffic stop we've done, and we find all the mail. When we get good surveillance video of a theft occurring, and we can pinpoint a license plate or vehicle description, use our cameras that we have in the neighborhood to track down the license plate, and then we follow up from there. But what it comes down to is we have to be able to identify a person on the surveillance and not just the car. Because I can say, like, yeah, this car committed that crime, but I have to put somebody in that car and put somebody stealing the mail. So that gets a little difficult, especially when the mail theft occurs at night.
Well, this is just going by what the local post office says of actual criminals that have been arrested and some are repeat arrests, of course.
Yeah, most people we arrest are all repeat arrests.
So it's just curious if
Is there a way to call that out, the mailbox arrest specifically for the future?
As far as arrests,
Yeah.
I could try to, I'll try to keep an eye and see if I can pull something up, for the next meeting. I try to, if, for certain communities, if we get a good arrest related to something like that, I try to do a press release or put it out on social media so people see it. That's just kinda how we get it out there.
We've seen the pictures, you know, of those being arrested, and thank you for doing what you're doing. And maybe what we can do is get something from the local court system, maybe. I'm not sure, but just a kind of a suggestion. Maybe not.
Probably not.
Okay, but it's good to know that you're doing what you're doing, though. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you much.
Thank you, Captain
Thank
Lamb.
you.
All righty, next up we have California Highway Patrol.
Good evening, Officer Valentine with the Highway Patrol. So I'm gonna go over some stats for up until this quarter. We had 12 crashes out here, 4 of them being injury-related
Microphone.
crashes. One
Captain
of them
Valentine.
being-
Microphone, please.
One of them being a.
Turn it on. The red light, there you go.
There you go.
There we go.
There we go.
Awesome.
Well, you're not the only one that had a problem with it. That's right, ride a motorcycle, less buttons.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'll start over, 12 crashes, during this quarter, 4 of them being injury-related crashes, 1 of them being a fatality on Ramona Expressway, and that did involve DUI, unfortunately. But we have seen quite a dramatic reduce in fatalities due to that the barrier in the middle on the Ramona Expressway. So that has been working and helping with that. We've also been in the area towing abandoned cars. Lately, it's been a lot of abandoned RVs. We have been out here a lot with that. The tow companies aren't happy with us because they have to get rid of them, but hopefully the community's happy with getting rid of them. So we have been out here for that. We've also been out here still patrolling, stop signs, speed, that kind of stuff. So we do have a Start Smart class coming up for the kiddos from age 15 to 20. And that's October 15th at the Ben Clark Training Center from 5 to 7 p.m.
I want to say this, thank you for picking up the van that was along our street, Apricot. I don't know if you know, but Apricot had an abandoned van, and we made a call into District 5, and thank you for picking it up.
No worries.
So I'm still waiting for somebody to respond to the traffic incident at my own property where the, Jeep hit the wall at my house on Tuesday at 2 a.m. So that went through Crystal.
Well, it might be better if you call our office or 911.
Well, but the thing is that first and foremost, I'd like to tip of the cap to the sheriff's department for all the patrolling they've been doing in the area. Their presence at the schools and everywhere has been widely noticed. For the next MAC meeting, I would like to know what the increase in activity is by the CHP here in Nuevo, because quite honestly, not seeing it. It's, there's seems to be more road activities, more pursuits, more blown stop signs. Like there's a lot more things going on. There's been a lot more sheriff's presence lately, but I haven't seen it from CHP. I hear what you're saying loud and clear, but based upon the fact that, I still can't even come give me a police report, I'm just not seeing it.
Okay. Well, like I said, if you contact our office, because this is the first time I'm hearing about anything over there. Crystal's fabulous, but if you want a police report and you want it done, usually you would go to the department that handles that, and I don't know if that's happened. So, and I don't know if Crystal has forwarded that to either Javier, but I haven't heard anything about it, and so that might be where there's a lag or whatever, but it's usually best to go to the department that handles that. So, any questions from out here?
Just real quick, has there been a, growing, you're trying to grow the department, right, as far as personnel?
Yes, so actually we are, we have been positive, and we are actually receiving 4 cadets from the next graduating class, so that should be within the next month. We're getting 4 cadets, so that added to the 2 cadets that we already got, we're getting better, and we're actually in the positive growing. So that should help out with our enforcement out here as well.
Awesome, thank you. Question, Tony?
Yes, sir. I appreciate the data that you brought. I think it helps us make better informed decisions as a community. I'm interested in safe pathways for pedestrians, bicyclists, and horseback riders in my community. We have distinct lack of sidewalks. And so I was wondering if perhaps maybe at the next meeting we could see data about, are there any collisions involving pedestrians? If we could look at that perhaps.
Point that out too, and County Roads is not here tonight, but that would be sidewalks and all that stuff. That would be,
We might be on the cusp of getting the infrastructure.
absolutely. I'll look into it and I'll have that.
Tanya? We can't hear you, Tanya.
If there's any type of working relationship between business insurance and CHP, the last time we had a DUI checkpoint on San Jacinto and Redmond, and it was awesome because everybody was trying to reduce that, so we're trying to go to San Jacinto, which is in the middle, and all of the cops were getting in there, so it would have been great if perhaps we could have had like one of the Mona from CHP and that one's from the quality of jurisdiction to really be able to get a good grasp of everything.
Yeah, since that would have been the city of Paris.
Correct. Yeah.
Right, so, yeah,
There's no type of-
we do work closely together with Beth and Miami Sheriff's Department, so maybe the next time that they do something, we can probably put something on too.
Yeah, that was, I mean, even if it's just 10, 15 minutes, but it was just amazing to see how many people were like just turning, like turning like from one lane, boom, to the other, and the garbage is still got stuff.
And to her point, to Captain Lamb and to you, officer, anytime that you guys have done any type of operations, whether it's DUI or off-road, things always seem to slow down, right after that. So anything that you can both do to try to bring more of that to the community, since it still seems to be the wild, wild west out here, that would be greatly appreciated, because it will then help, when you're not present.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Officer Johnson. All right, thank you much. Next up, we have CAL FIRE, David Young. And the mic's been left on for you.
Good evening, everybody. Not David Young, sorry to disappoint. David, though, in the office as well. So in this area, Nuevo, and in the surrounding areas, we did about just under 900 initial inspections that resulted in 132 notices of violation for weed vegetation, weed management. Our department specifically, there's 2 sides of the fire department. There's the firefighter side that you see with the cool engine trucks, and then there's the inspector side. So we're on the prevention side. So we deal with undeveloped parcels with their vegetation management. We deal with sprinklers. We deal with inspections on the prevention side. We're trying to prevent the big fires. Luckily this year we have, unfortunately, we have seen an uptick in amounts of fires, but the size of the fires have decreased. They've been able to put them out a lot faster, thanks in part to my colleagues like Ms. Torres out there kicking butt every day. So we do try to encourage our property owners to maintain their vegetation, especially when they're not structured, people don't live on them. And then out of those 132 parcels that we did notices of violation on, about 13 of them went to contractor for forced abatement. So on our side, we do have a forced abatement. So they have about 5 to 6 weeks to get it done themselves. If they don't, we send out a contractor to get it done, and we tax it on at the end. And then just as an FYI, I like to tell the people that I talk to, best time of year, because considering we're going into windy season, Santa Anas are starting to come out, the best time of year to cut your vegetation are the 2 scariest times of the year, Halloween and tax season. So in April and October, those tend to be the seasons that we go out and really hit the ground running and do our inspections as far as weed vegetation management. So if you guys just remember, April is a great time to start because it starts to get hot. And then in October, so that we're entering that windy season, so it's a great time to start hitting that vegetation. We are going to be expanding our role and our duties within our division, our department. So you will probably be seeing a lot more of us. We will bring to you more information as it gets established. But if you guys do have any questions, I can give you guys a phone number, and we'll be here after, so you guys have any questions you can ask us. So the phone number to our office is 951-943-0640. 951-943-0640. We do with fire prevention, hazard reduction as it relates to vegetation. We are going to expand our role a little bit, but if you guys have any further questions, we are going to stick around to the back. We do work hand in hand greatly with code enforcement. We do a lot, collaborate on some of the issues here, but does anybody have any questions on the short term?
Bruce?
Yeah, what about properties that are occupied? I mean, front yard's about 3 feet high and trash piled up against the wing fence that connects to the neighbor's house.
So
It doesn't
question,
say trash service.
so question was, what about a structured house with high vegetation, trash accumulation? Thank you. So as I was leading out to a little bit, we are expanding our role a little bit. We are gonna expand a little bit, and not to give you a little inside track into the information, don't let anybody know. We are gonna expand into structured homes. And especially with properties that are getting sold. There's a assembly bill that requires an inspection of mitigating fire threat and vegetation. As it comes to accumulated rubbish, that is specifically a code enforcement issue. So when it comes to vegetation, it's a rule of thumb. It can be dry, and if it's rooted, it's gonna be fire department. If it's off, if it's not rooted, if it's cut, it's considered rubbish, it's considered trash, that's on the code enforcement side. They have specific codes, and they go in like a scalpel. They get very granular, and they can identify weeds and vegetation that's not rooted, that's just discarded, and they have enforcement powers on that. But if it's rooted, that's gonna be on our side.
Okay.
Sure.
Question in the back.
I wish we were using drones.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. No, on the larger parcels that are a little bit more on the rural side, we're hiking. We're getting a good assessment, but we for the most part, we enforce ordinance 695 within the Riverside County. So our rule of thumb is 100 feet from road or 100 feet from structure. So it's a rule of thumb depending on slope, depending on type of vegetation. It could be native, it could be for erosion control. We might not cut the whole thing, we might just cut it down. There's a lot of it that goes into play into how much we abate, but we have the discrepancy to go up to 100 feet from road shoulder or 100 feet from structure. So we do try to play with that, but no drones. That would be pretty cool.
What would be the need to get a drone? Do you have a plan to possibly even look for one or to purchase one? Is there a
I am not
contract or-
aware, I'm not in purview to that data, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to intelligently answer if there's any intentions behind that.
Okay, might be something to look into, if the fire department has a need for it. Possibly we can talk to the district maybe, or the state, can think of your state agency, to find out if there's any resources for a drone. It
Yeah.
might make it easier to do the hiking in the canyons, especially back to Union Flats.
Yeah, Riverside County is a contract, think of like Cathedral City or Moreno Valley. They have their own city council, and they contract the county for the fire inspectors. So CAL FIRE, the firefighters, they're CAL FIRE, they're state employees. We're county employees. So the state contracts us to do their inspections. So yeah, that would be wonderful. David Young would be a wonderful person to contact about that, my boss's boss. But yeah, any other questions? We will be here after if anybody has anything.
One more.
Can I make a comment, please?
Yes.
Because we are on the Pacific Flyway, and it's very important to protect our resident and migratory birds, the best time of year to cut your trees is October and November, because very few of the birds are nesting at that time. we have resident hummingbirds in this area that nest most of the year.
And she said that best time of year to cut your trees are November, October, November because of migratory birds. Just so everyone knows, there is not a single ordinance in Riverside County that talks about trees. And that becomes an issue with neighbors and fallen limbs. Fallen limbs, again, discarded, that's accumulated rubbish. But tree branches going over property lines, that's a neighbor dispute. Overgrown prawns, there's no ordinance specific to trees. That would be a supervisor's conversation to amend our ordinances so that we can have that enforcement power. It does come to us unfortunately, and there's only so much we can do when it comes to trees, but great point on the October, November.
There is also the fact that it is illegal to disturb nesting birds, particularly, predators such as red-tailed hawk and
Yeah, no, I can, yeah, definitely your lane, not so much on my lane. Sir, anything? Perfect.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, guys.
All righty, we have code enforcement representative. State your name, please.
Good evening, my name is Officer Fetterman with Code Enforcement. Before I get into the stats, I just want to say thank you to everybody for your patience and support. These processes sometimes take a long time to get trash and other things like that abated. We have 2 officers working over 300 cases just here in Nuevo. So it takes a long time for us to get to them, and it takes a long time for that process to actually get moving. So I just want to thank you first for your support and understanding that these processes take quite a bit to get handled. As far as stats, since the last MAC meeting, we have opened up 5 accumulated rubbish cases, 10 zoning cases, 7 construction without permit cases, 5 vehicle abatements, and 3 parking abatements. Since the last one, we have opened 30 new cases, and we have closed 27, for a total of 336 open cases right now. That is all the stats I have for you. Do you have any questions?
Question.
Yes, sir.
There was a huge fire at the end of Apricot in Nuevo at the big lot that had a bunch of old cars and things with a fire there. It was a hazard. Is there any information on how that's being processed at this time?
I would have to look into that case specifically, sir, but typically what we do is if it's a fire there, we'll go there and we'll tag it for substandard structure, most likely accumulated rubbish with a fire, and then it's on that property owner to get that cleaned up. If they refuse to do it, that's the time where it takes a long time, because you can have up to 7 months before the county can actually take action on it, with extensions and stuff like that.
So
And then at that point, it's comes to our director and everybody up top to make a decision if the county's gonna spend money to abate that process.
7 months, okay. Well, that's the process,
That's
okay.
the time they can get, because there's extensions that you can purchase and stuff like that that give you more time.
Okay. Question,
Follow-up
Greg.
question on that?
Yes, sir.
So, is there an explicit document on the code enforcement page or anywhere else that says, from the time you file a complaint, code enforcement complaint, here is roughly the time frame for resolution? Anything you got on your webpage on that?
I'm not sure about that, but I can give you pretty much a breakdown right now.
I'll give you a case in particular. So
Okay, yes, sir.
there's a lot of would-be truck lots that are popping up in Nuevo.
Yes.
So file the complaint. Now, I know you guys are very careful with the information you release, so you have to go back and do a public information request. Roughly, from the time I file that, until the time it's gonna go one way or another, cease and desist or something. We're talking about 2 years, we're talking about 10 years?
So with the vehicles, we go out there and we tag them. We have to do an inventory of the vehicles, identify, try to contact the owners of the vehicles. And typically that process starts off at 30 days. All right, and then they can file extensions. Okay, so you can get 2-3 month extensions. All right, so that's 180 days on that. And then once that time takes, then we have to send it up and get approved. So typically with something like that, if they use the max amount of time, it takes about a year. And that all depends on the caseload and when the officers can actually get out there. Some of these properties and stuff like that with code cases, abandoned homes and just other people, we can't get in if they won't allow us on the property. So then we have to file an intent to inspect and try to get ourselves on the property to actually be able to code it and start the process from there. So that's why I said that, you know, we really appreciate you guys' patience, because sometimes we just can't get in at some places and it takes a long time for that process to work out.
That's helpful, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't think, but who's in charge of the noise nuisance? Is it, because I know some elderly folks here in town, and they, on the weekends, and there'll be like a big band and a lot of noise up until 5 a.m. in the morning. They'll call the sheriff, they'll call the police, and they say to call code enforcement. Well, then there's no answer, so what is the resolution on that? What do you know?
Okay, so it is a code enforcement issue. There is a special team that handles noise ordinance typically, and they do work weekends. So just make a complaint to code enforcement, and they'll identify that code to the actual set team
Can I
that
get
handles
that
it.
telephone number to hand out to some?
I don't have the number right on, but Senior Officer Wars in the back does. You can get that number afterwards. Yes, sir.
The team you talking about, they work on the Riverside, don't they?
Yes, sir.
They only work till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. At 8 o'clock they go home. At 10 o'clock the music starts and nobody answers the phone. So they don't answer the phone. They don't work on the weekend. Parties on the weekend. So it's like chasing the dogs, chasing the tail.
I know.
You guys are just full of baloney.
I know for a fact, sir, we just got their hours because there are some changes happening with that.
You have to hear something, just like law enforcement. You have to hear, you have to see the speeder so you can go to court and testify. You can't testify when you're in Riverside. I said, what good is it? You want to shut down, the best way to shut it down is to cite them. So they get them in their pocket. Talking to them doesn't do no good, because 3 weeks later, they'll start up again.
So is there a code enforcement telephone number for that after hours? Somebody that will hit the phone?
It's a general number, it's a general number, and then it goes to an after-hours call center, and then dispatch.
No one answered.
So, but if you're saying it's an after-hours number, you gotta hear that?
No, it's the same number, and it automatically transfers to that after-hours number, so you just call our general number, and it's gonna automatically, send you to that after-hours.
No one answered.
To these residents' points, sir, after hours, the calls are going to Paris Station. That's what people in front of you have instructed people to do, is call it in, call it in, call it in, call it in, okay? You have large house parties at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning that get called in, have to get called in 3, 4, 5 times sometimes based upon call log to get them shut down. You've got people with rodeos, full-on rodeos with bandas going on, 500,000 people, disrupting stuff. So I think it's very naive what you're saying. To that gentleman's point over there, he's 100% correct. At 501, no one cares. So I would ask that whoever the representative is from code enforcement at the next MAC meeting, you come with a better strategy on how to help the community with this, because this is an ongoing problem that's not going away.
Yes, sir. We can most definitely work something like that out. Again, this is another patient issue. We have one team to work the entire county of Riverside. So I understand the disappointment and the upset with these calls not being handled. And we can obviously push this to the team that handles these type of solutions and see if they can put a better presence out here in Nuevo during those times to try to get those issues handled.
Any other questions?
I have a lighter, hopefully easier question to answer. There's some confusion as to who we call for illegal dumping. So I live right off of Reservoir, and that street right there around all the farmlands has become quite the dumping zone. It's pretty clear right now because somebody went through and cleaned it all up. But when we call code enforcement, and then code enforcement tells us, oh, you need to call waste management. We call waste management and they say, oh, call code enforcement. So it's like this horrible hamster on a wheel that we just can't get off of.
That's what he was saying.
Okay,
So what do we do?
As far as cleaning it up, that may be waste management. Give us a call because we handle the actual code violation of dumping. We can't stop the people from dumping, but we can cite the violation for there being actual dumping there and it considered accumulated rubbish on the property. Unless we actually catch them in the act of doing it, I mean, as far as we can say is, hey, you know, you can't do this, it's the code violation, and things of that matter, but at the end of the day, it's as unfortunate as it is, it's on the property owner to maintain their property if somebody's illegally dumping on it. So that may be more of a sheriff's issue that they can kind of work, but unless we catch them red-handed,
Right.
it's a cumulative rubbish issue at that point.
Okay, I get that. So if we call Waste Management and Waste Management says, sorry, it's not our problem, then what? Because that's what I get. every
He's
time I
saying
call.
that it's you as the homeowner, it's your responsibility. If somebody dumps something in front of your property.
But it's not my property. I'm just talking about in
I
general.
understood, so whoever's property that stuff is getting dumped in front of, he's saying it is that homeowner's responsibility to clear it, which is, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but that's what he's saying.
Unfortunately, that's the case, that it's your property, even if somebody illegally dumps something on your property, as the homeowner or the county, it's your responsibility to maintain it.
Okay.
Samantha, there's a county illegal.
Can't hear you, can't hear you, Nick, can't hear you.
There's an illegal dump hotline from the county for unincorporated areas such as ours. 1-800.
1-800.
870.
870.
6600.
6600, that's a 1-800 hotline for what?
For illegal dumping.
For illegal dumping.
Correct.
Have you had any
Right on the Riverside County website.
All right, thank you.
Has anybody in this room had any experience with that hotline?
Yes, I use it all the time when I'm getting it out.
Thank you very much, Nick. It sounds like a redundant question, but I want to make sure so that way people are actually getting a solution.
That's a good number.
One question
I
I
know
was
my
asked.
question has been asked and answered probably several times, but it's still just like clear as mud. I mean, that's basically where we are at this point.
Well, one question I was asked that may not have been heard, this gentleman asked, what if it's dumped on the roadway or on the easement of the roadway? That's transportation. You can obviously call us and we'll forward it to transportation. But if it's on a county maintained road or the easement, that is the transportation, county road transportation, and they can take care of that.
I have a question.
Call the 800 number Nick just gave.
Okay, how many citations have been written to the vendors that are on Lakeview and Nuevo?
Lakeview, Nuevo,
The
I know-
food vendors?
Well, I'd have to look into that to see exactly how many citations were written into them, because our team doesn't handle the vendors as well. We handle zoning, accumulated rubbish, and parking. There's special teams for those exact vendors. So we'd have to get back with that information, man.
Okay, because that's an ongoing problem for me as a business. They're
There's a-
selling right there on that street. They start at 2 o'clock, they go to 11, to 12. And all of us that are small businesses here in Nuevo, it affects us. So I've seen it going on, and there's been nothing done about it.
I have to apologize. I'll have to get back
There-
to you exactly, see how we have handled that situation.
There was an issue in Menifee and Nuevo Road, a corner, where they had to move the vendors, I think 50 yards,
For the,
150.
for the easement, they were,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that
changes
same
it.
situation is now on the corner of Lakeview and Nuevo.
Okay.
And Nick.
Lisa, I'm really involved with this right now with Brian Contino, who's the director of the club. I was told yesterday that those vendors are allowed to be under their act. And there's really nothing that code can do.
They can't set up chairs, they can't set up.
Well, that's a whole other thing. I mean, we went round and round for 45 minutes about this. It's a safety hazard. I was almost hit by a car that stopped short in the middle of Lakeview Avenue and backed up to get to one of these vendors last Friday. It's really a horrible safety issue. And nothing's being done. And it's making our town what we get on the service.
So you said it's not you who deals with it, who deals with vendors then?
It is code enforcement, it's just not our department. Like, same thing with the noise pollution, it's a separate, specialized team that deals exactly with
Okay,
this.
but the head of code, Brian Catino, says that it's legal for the vendors. to be
If
there.
they get permitted and it is
Don't-
legal, yes.
Don't we have a state representative here tonight to speak? Because that would have to be an SB law, right?
If it, an SB,
Right? Head fees, an SB to allow them to have vendors on the road. Sabrina Cervantes' office speaking tonight?
They're supposed to be represented here. Not sure that one of those representatives are here yet, but question is, I'll get to you in just a moment. The question in the back? Can't hear you. Can you please stand up?
Some of us like the vendors, and we really had the same problem with the vendors at first, and they created a solution where now they're in the lock. And now everyone's benefiting from the fact that they have a dedicated lock where they can actually go and sell. So we shouldn't think of them as a problem. We like the vendor, we need to find a solution as a community. And small business owners can all enjoy.
Solution.
Solution.
What do you think the solution could be?
Like a dedicated lot, that's right. We can talk to state, we can talk to county, we need to find a place for.
People talked about putting a lot down on the land down by the Ramona Expressway and Reservoir. They talked about years ago about putting a lot there for vendors, so they'd all be in one place. They wouldn't be in the middle of the road, they wouldn't be at intersections. That might be a better solution.
We're suffering from short options also.
That's very interesting. That opportunity, Greg, down at the end, that property is for sale. So whoever purchases that property or is interested in it can actually make that happen possibly, because it is a wonderful location, off away from the main arteries of the.
Yeah, but he sits right in
downtown.
front of a Mexican restaurant in Pomona, who pays taxes, employee taxes, workers' comp, liability insurance, rent.
And that business is doing absolutely no business while those people are there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody loves the vendors and says, oh, well, they give cheap prices. Well, of course they do. They pay nothing. Nothing.
I gotta ask this question, people are gonna like it. What are they doing for bathrooms?
Exactly.
Well, that's an
And-
environmental, and by law, they are supposed to have a bathroom, they are supposed to be able to have something to wash their hands with. The environmental will not enforce it.
And they're using the street vendors are using the resources of the, tax-paying businesses around there for those things, whether it's Marcello's or El Tamal or Nuevo Market, et cetera. So I think the best thing to do is, we consider and go round and round on this. Let's make it as an action item to bring up later down the road. And I think this is gonna take Supervisor Gutierrez's direct involvement.
Yep. Yes, go
What you
ahead.
guys are missing, yes, the vendors are good, and yes, they're right on that corner is a traffic issue. I think it's too close to the corner. You're right about that. I think, but remember, California passed a law for these street vendors to be in existence. They do pay a license for the service of their cart. You'll see it, it's posted on their cart. If it doesn't have it, then obviously it's a code enforcement issue. But it's not just them, it's the residents that are on that Nuevo Road right there. The hot dog vendor that just popped up there in their resident, and another taco lady and out of her resident. Which, I'm not against any of it, because people need to make money to survive this day and age with these high taxes that we're paying in California. But if it's something that we're attacking, it's not just that street vendor, because hopefully his vehicle service, like if it's permitted, like he's entitled. But are the residents getting their permits too? Because that could be an issue too, and they don't have the parking space on their property to allow the cars to come in and buy from them. I'm not against it, guys, but if we're gonna argue, we have to make sure the residents are also responsible for their actions too.
Good point. Good point. And we will make that an action item, thank you.
So we gotta make sure, because you would handle residents, right, on code enforcement, is that correct?
I'm sorry?
You will handle the residents on code enforcement.
Yes.
So that would be, that's gonna fall in your category.
They have nothing to find with the vendor, they have everything to find with the vendor.
We will come up with a plan.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it's homeowner and vendor.
Yeah.
Street vendor, and a homeowner setting up their little taco stands off their property, and, obviously they got their restrooms and a place to wash their hands. But they're also causing that quick turn in their property. We're getting there, 'cause I've experienced it, I'm an 8-year resident here in Nuevo. But, I'm just saying, you gotta keep a balance between the vendors. I'm not against them, I understand why they're doing it, everybody needs to make their income. But the guy right there across the street from Altamont, he's too close to the corner.
Yes.
I think we have to give him that 150 feet
That's where I was gonna say, we just had the, ordinance for Menifee and Nuevo. I think perhaps trying to, for the action item, asking the district to, if you cannot add Lakeview and Nuevo as well, having a certain, 500 feet that is with the ordinance of Nuevo Menifee. Perhaps now we have to add additional main streets on the arteries of Nuevo that will affect, situations like this.
And they also gotta be so many feet away from residents.
Yes.
I think too, because the resident doesn't want a vendor from their house, a street vendor that is.
Or some sign from their house next door.
Right, that's what I'm saying, you have the two issues going on for selling food.
Okay.
Points are valid.
Points about, yep, exactly. Okay, thank you so much. Oh, you wanna make one last question, and we have 30 seconds. Yes, the solution is going, the action item is for a solution. Yes, it is, definitely. Okay. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, now, look on here, next up, we have EMD. Valerie, are you here? All right, she's here.
Hello everyone, my name is Valerie Almanza. I'm with Riverside County Emergency Management Department. So September was our National Preparedness Month, so this year's theme was Resilience Starts at Home. So we did hold 2 preparedness events. One was out in the desert at the Acrisure Arena, and another one was out here in the Riverside area. So we encourage residents, if you can, to follow our social media page as far as the RIFCO Ready. That way you guys can get that information of where exactly we're holding events, for any type of preparedness information that you guys may have, or any resources that we can possibly provide you guys with. So additionally, also knowing your risks. So we also want to educate the public about, the risks, high risk of fires and etc., floods even, and also practice your plan. So we always talk about having a plan in place at home. So that can be identifying everybody's responsibilities at home, identifying, important documents that you guys have at hand at your home. So just being a little bit more prepared. We never know when a disaster is gonna happen, so we just want to encourage the public, to be a little bit more prepared. Also, just stay informed. So like, as I mentioned, our social media page, our RIFCO Ready, and also you can opt into our Alert RIFCO as well in order to receive any alerts that we may put out. So with the recent fires, we do push out not only our wireless emergency alerts whenever we get information from our incident commanders from fire, to push out evacuations, whether that be any type of orders, or we're gonna push out some warnings. We do also, if you opt into our Alert RIFCO, you'll also receive emails as well. So say you're not within that area during the time that we issue out that evacuation warning or order, you can also receive that by email, or even an SMS text by inputting your phone number as well. So we just encourage you to have additional tools in your pocket for notifications and emergency alerts, and also knowing your zone. So last time I was here, I talked a little bit about our Genesis. So that's just another platform that we use for messaging, for alerting the public as well whenever a disaster happens. So that includes evacuation orders and warnings for your community. So I would encourage residents to really look into the Genesis app. You can download it onto your phone, or you can even look it up on your internet as well, and just kind of get yourself familiar with that. Just that's another tool that we're typically using now to push out any evacuation orders that we may have. So our role in emergencies is the notification purposes. So as I mentioned, we do your wireless emergency alerts, and then we'll also push out on the Genesis, along with we work with fire as well. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
So in the case, God forbid, there be a massive earthquake, right? So cell towers are gonna be down, I'm assuming you're fairly down. So is this satellite driven, your messaging, or is it something else?
So you'll still be able, you should still be able to receive the messages, even if you're in an area where you don't have any type of service. Just not for the opt-in. So I talk about the Alert RIFCO, which is more like an opt-in, so that would be like your email, your SMS, but you should be able to receive the wireless emergency alerts. And then also just having the out-of-state, I know we talk about possibly not having any type of communication. So that's where we also talk about having radios at hand. So if you guys have radios, you know, we have our RACES, our radio amateur. They're an organization as well that you can get involved with also. You just have to do some type of trainings with them, and you can get certified as well to like program your radios for certain channels as well for communication purposes. So there's that as well. You can always look up on our Riverside County website also. So if you just look at Riverside County Emergency Management Department, you can see the list of things that our department handles. We're not a very big department, so a lot of people don't know about our department. So we have both our medical side and then we have our response side. So I'm on the response side, so we respond out whenever there's going to be any type of evacuations in place, just because we handle all that type of messaging. So we also just teach the community preparedness as well, because you never know, maybe you might be out on the freeway, something happens, you know, you want to have water with you. I know out in the valley that might be a little bit hard on the Potrero Valley just because it's really hot, so we typically just advise people to either have like your long, like having the canned waters instead of having like your bottled waters. So that's another alternative you can look into as well, like a longer shelf life water to have in your vehicle, at least maybe like a few cans in there if you can. And then also just always having snacks with you and a go bag. So I have a go bag in my truck, you know, extra pair of clothes, extra tennis shoes, and just any amenities that I may need. So just, you know, letting, basically educating the community a little bit more to be a little bit more prepared, and also having all your documents ready. You know, when there's a fire, you only have so much time to be able to get out of your home, right? So you want to ensure that you can grab everything that you can, everything handy, you know where everything's at. So just being able to have that information and be able to do that to evacuate safely and take what you can with you.
You know, Valerie,
Yeah.
next time I'd like to request, can we have a document that signifies what proper communication can be once the optical lines go down, possibly?
Yeah, I
and
can look
then,
into it.
yeah, and then maybe something we can hand out to the residents here, because in our business, well, we have a care home, then we have to have 7 days of perishable, non-perishable foods, waters, and things like that for our individuals that we work with. So the individuals here need to know exactly what to do, because when the emergency happens, sometimes we just kind of lose our minds a little bit, don't know what to do next, kind of, you know, so just something that we can put on our refrigerators or something that can be something to look at.
Yeah, and then we do also have like a 12 steps preparedness also presentation. So it's just basically, you know, let you guys know any dry, non-perishable things that you can have at home, and then also just reminding you that if you have pets, also have that for them as well. We never know how long we're going to be in that situation for. And then to your point as well, like making sure you have enough water for each person, right? So you want to have at least 2 gallons per person a day. You want to have up to actually 2 weeks or so, right, for food and all that. So I could bring a little bit more information next time.
Yes.
And then also the communications part.
Yes, that would be
as
huge.
well. That would help.
That would be huge. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Question?
I tried to find the Genesis now. How's that spelled?
It's spelled GenasyS. Yeah, it's a little funky. And it's a little green icon that has. And then you can input your address, so you can sign up and everything. You'll input your address, and it'll let you know what zone you're actually in. And then you can also add members to it as well. If you have other family living elsewhere, you can have that also, so you guys kind of know what part of the area they're from for their zones. And like I said, CAL FIRE is also a good resource to follow as well on social media. We work hand in hand when sending out any type of evacuation orders or warnings as well. And then also additional information on there would be any type of care reception that we may open that would offer snacks, depending how long we're gonna have it open for. We also provide food, water. We also have, you can charge your device there if you need to, if you're out of your home for so long, just to at least get some fresh air also. So there's all that in there as well. And then if you have pets with you, we do also work with animal services as well. Now by law, at least one of our shelters has to accommodate service animals. Or not we accommodate service animals, but if you have like pets that are not service animals, you can still have them at the shelter. However, they have to be outside, and animal service has a great setup as well. So we just work hand in hand with them. Also, for you guys to be able to take your pets, if they're larger animals, then we'll let you know what place you can take, what facility you can take them to as well. If you need to leave them there for a longer time, or if you decide to go to a whole town, you can't take your pet with you, stuff like that. So there's different options for you. Don't think just because you have your pet or something, you're not able to go to a care and reception to receive any type of needs that you guys need. We're here to support, so.
All right, thank you, Valerie. Thank you. Okay, next up we have John Hildebrand. Planning Department.
Mr. Chairman, council members, good evening. My name is John Hildebrand. I'm Planning Director for Riverside County. Last time I was here, there were some questions about the county's general plan amendment foundation process, how we do it, why we do it. And at that time I volunteered, or maybe I was voluntold, to come back and give a brief presentation on this. So here we are. It's a short, very short 85 slide presentation today, so dig in. No, I'm kidding. So I'll be brief and I'll be quick, but there is some nuances to it, so I want to make sure I can cover the details of it, and I'll follow up with some questions. So with that, go ahead to the next slide, please. For context, every single property in Riverside County, every single property in cities throughout California have a designated general plan land use. There's a land use on that property that sets forth the vision for how the property becomes developed, how it becomes used, and what type of businesses can go there. In a general sense of categories, you have residential, commercial, industrial, and there's some special ones called mixed use and open space and some other things as well. And for context, in front of you on the slide, this is the City of Ontario's general plan land uses, and I'll tell you why I'm showing you this in a minute relative to the counties. They have, I think, 19 separate land uses, pretty straightforward. These are exactly the same type of land uses you would find in most other cities or counties throughout California, right? Pretty straightforward, one list. Next slide, please. Except for county, Riverside, we do things a little bit differently here. Different can mean good, bad, or however you phrase it. But our general plan land uses are structured in what's called foundations. The column on the left shows the 5 different foundations, and the column on the right are those typical general plan land uses you would find anywhere within that foundation. Think in terms of the left column as buckets. We have 5 buckets of foundations. Within each of those buckets are the right columns, that group of general plan land uses. Anytime you want to change a general plan land use, you can do it within the same bucket at any time. So the community development has the most land use. Go back, please. The community development foundation, which is the last one in there, has the most land uses that you can see there. If you want to change one of those land uses to another land use within that same bucket, you can submit an application to the county and do it any time. Where the nuance comes in is if you want to change a land use from one bucket to a different bucket, a different foundation, that sets forth a whole different process of the county. That's that 8-year foundation general plan application cycle, which is what we're in right now. I wanted to visualize this last time, but I didn't have a slide, so hopefully this clarifies how our county is different than many other counties or cities throughout California. So that's the organizational structure of our general plan land uses. Next slide, please. So how is that implemented? We have an 8-year cycle. Every 8 years, we post out in the media, we do some outreach, community engagement that sets forth a application window time frame that developers, property owners, whoever can submit that foundation general plan amendment that wants to change from one bucket to another bucket, right? And so the last one opened in 2024, and we're in the middle of processing all those applications right now. The way it works is, the way it's set up, and this is a little bit more complicated, is there's a volunteer group called the GPAC, the General Plan Advisory Committee, and they're comprised of community members. This year we did 1 per district. So the supervisors appointed one community member per their district to assemble this GPAC community. This community GPAC group sat on our regular standing directors hearings. We have directors hearings that handle small projects throughout the county, and a subgroup of that was the GPAC members who heard, listened to, and made recommendations on each of these FGPAs going forward. It's just a recommendation at that level. It goes to Planning Commission next. They have to hear the same thing. Planning Commission is a recommendation. And then it goes to the Board of Supervisors for one final stop. Board of Supervisors either gives literally the thumbs up or thumbs down, they support or oppose it. If it gets initiated, then the developer has 6 months to submit the actual implementation of the project itself. Next slide, please. So here's the challenge with this process, and I think a lot of you are running into this. There's no project at this stage. There's no development plan, we're not constructing anything, there's no plans to look at this point in time. This is a scenario of a vision. We think this is a good idea to change from this use to this other use in this area. We're hoping that the board will support our vision and give us initiation, and then we can move forward to the actual planning stages. It's very difficult for developers to commit dollars for very expensive plans, technical studies, without the certainty that the board is going to give me the thumbs up in order to be able to move to the next stage. So when the developer's up here explaining their vision for the properties that need an FGPA first, you're asking very critical questions. What about the migratory birds? What about the water quality? What about traffic? All those things are really important to ask, but most of the time they're not going to know at this stage. They don't even establish the development footprint yet. As the example I gave earlier, a 400-acre site may be whittled down to half or less than that because some of it has to be set aside for conservation. There might be fault lines going through it. They don't know all that yet until they conduct the biological study, the technical studies. It gets them that development footprint in order to know how to build that site out. So when we ask how much square footage can be built on the 400 acres, in your mind you can calculate what the maximum build out would be, but in reality it's going to be something a lot less than that until the studies are done. So this is the weird chicken and the egg middle ground that it's really hard to get up here and describe. I have this wonderful vision for this property. I want to change it from this land use to that one. Please support me. That's all I have to give. Some of them are more baked. Some of them do have some plans that they put together, some initial drawings and siting and stuff like that to kind of convey what the vision is. But most of the applicants haven't gotten that far yet because they don't want to commit the dollars to the plans until they get the certainty. So that's the cycle. Now, why do we do it this way versus every other county and city? Great question, I'm glad you asked. This is really a result of litigation and a settlement agreement almost 25 years ago. It set forth those foundations, it set forth those general plan land use, and it set forth this 8-year cycle. Does it work? Did it do what it was supposed to do? It's questionable. What we're seeing now is the impact of the 8-year cycle where we get tons of these FGP applications all at the same time. And it looks overwhelming to the MAC members, it looks overwhelming to our board, it looks overwhelming to the community because we have to process all these things at the same time. The very last slide shows the number of FGPs we got over the past 2 cycles. You'll be surprised. It is a lot. So this process is what we have baked into the county. There has been some efforts to try to amend that process, and there'll be some more ongoing efforts to amend it further. We're looking at modifying the 8-year cycle, modifying kind of how the GPAC is formed. Nothing's been approved yet, so this process still is in effect today. So we will bring something forward to change it in the future. Next slide, please. Here we are, numbers. The 2008 FGPA cycle had 156 applications countywide. Countywide, that's when I started. I had to process all these darn things back in the day. 2016, a lot less, only 32 applications, and what we're dealing with right now are 76 applications. That means 76 different items have to go to our GPAC, have to go to Planning Commission, have to go to Board of Supervisors, primarily all at the same time. So you see our agenda's loaded with 4 or 5 of these at a time to try to get through these. That's the magnitude and extent of what happens when you wait 8 years. They all slam together at the same time. Last slide, please. All right, I told you to be brief. That's a lot to take in and understand. That is the process we are saddled with. That's the process we're going through right now. And when developers come up here and want to present their concept of an FGPA, that's why they're doing it. That's what the process is. For further information, our website for the planning department is up there. All of our FGPA applications, we have a dedicated page on our website right up there as well. It has all the hearing dates, it has the staff reports, the hearing notices, and there's an interactive map on that site that pinpoints the location of all those FGPAs countywide, not just this district. And basic contact information for our department as well. So, thank you. I'm sure there's questions, but
Greg.
Okay,
Greg.
Greg, go ahead.
You and I had an exchange last week via email about giving Richland an extension on the tentative track plan. Did that extension occur?
So let's talk about what that means, what you're asking. So every tentative map that gets approved in the county to subdivide and build something, whether it's residential, a residential tract, a commercial tract, or industrial, that tentative approval has 9 years to be final. There's two-step process. There's the tentative approval and there's the final approval. The final approval physically subdivides that property into whatever that configuration is. The tentative is just a tentative stage. So the developers and property owners of that tentative map have 9 years to complete all the steps necessary in between getting to that final map. If it doesn't meet that 9 years, the map is expired and they have to come back and get new entitlements for that same map. The one you're referring to, the Stone Ridge, they have a tentative tract map for their residential. It's been approved 8-9 years ago. There's been some state extensions that allowed it as well. They're working towards finalizing that map right now to get it tentatively filed, so they don't lose that map. So that's what Greg's referring to right now.
John, what I'm referring to is this email chain. I want to share it with people, but basically they're behind and they weren't going to make their deadline. And then there's reference, and I got this through public information.
That's my email. You're reading my email.
I'm reading your email.
So let me explain it a
This is
little bit
public
further.
information.
It's my
Now, let me
email.
finish,
So,
please.
go
Let me
ahead.
finish. That tentative land tract map was due to expire in December.
Yes.
But in your email, you discussed, talking to the supervisor about getting a development plan in place so that it can be extended automatically.
Okay.
My question, long-winded as it is why would you do that? What does the county gain from that? And why would we give them an extension when they already have a perfectly good zoning for residential? And it's their own fault they're not filing these things on time. Why would we give them a development plan? And I want to bring the county into this too. Crystal, please take a note. At some point, we have to speak to the supervisor about this because you mentioned talking to the supervisor in your email. So do they have an extension on their tentative map?
So you referenced a whole bunch of things there, and we need to break that down a little bit. I don't know if we have the time to go through each one of those or not, but
We're gonna make the time.
Let me quickly summarize. Okay. So let me finish. That is my email he's referencing. That was a series of options that the developer could take upon to do in order to get that map extended or completed at the same time. So, and we offer those same options for everybody. They're not unique. So as an example, we had a Boulder Springs tentative tract map off of Calco up that way. That was also due to expire. They were not anywhere near moving ahead to the final map. They asked, what can we do to get our tentative tract map for residential extended beyond those 9 years? And we thought, and we felt that entering into a development agreement would enable them to extend that map for another 3 years and also give back some community benefits. So the development agreement is one option, it's one tool that could be used to extend maps that are getting ready to expire. That email reference.
Is that a yes?
Let me finish. That email references that as an option to enter into.
It does.
They did not do that because they are moving ahead trying to get their map final by doing all the things they need to do before it expires. And they're getting close to wrapping that up through our survey and transportation department.
So these are the COAs that were mentioned in the email?
Conditions, the bonds, all the other stuff they gotta do in order to get to the final
Okay, so
stage.
they're gonna go that process and get things
Yes.
done by the end of the year.
That's what they're trying to
so
do.
they don't violate.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
So they're making sure, so to be clear with everyone, that they're making sure they catch up on the residential
Correct.
Thing, that's gonna be by December.
Correct.
Okay.
That's accurate, yes.
Tanya, and I'll get back. Tanya?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Is it all different processes at that point? If you create one process that you just went over, and then there's specific permitting, and then they will then be able to take the course, and then another one? Or is it once this goes up to board before the GPA, will change the zone and specific timing, and how do you have it broken down?
Great questions, yeah, it's very confusing. Let me address that in two parts. One is Stone Ridge in and of itself, which is different process, different application than an FGPA. When an FGPA goes through the process, GPAC, Planning Commission, Board of Supervisors, that's all they're presenting at that time. It's only that vision to change from one land use to another land use. They're not considering a project, they're not proving anything, they're not moving anything else forward other than their vision. If the board initiates a foundation change, again, I just give them the right to move ahead to the next step. The land use doesn't change at that point. They've approved nothing. They can't build anything, they can't do any grading, and the color on the map does not change yet. Phase 2 is the processing of all the other applications with it. And many times they'll need a change of zone to go with that GPA, they'll need the implementing project, which could be a plot plan, a CUP, a track map, whatever they're proposing to do. All those applications are processed and evaluated together at the same time. They're taken forward when they're ready, back through the hearing process, back to planning commission, and considered collectively together. So we don't piecemeal individual applications at any time. Stone Ridge is a little bit different. Stone Ridge is not an FGPA because they have an approved specific plan. They already have all the rules. They're already in our community development foundation. They are changing, however, from residential to industrial, but they can do that at any time with the application because they're already in the community development. So to answer your question specifically, they have a specific plan amendment. They have a zone change, and they have probably a plot plan or some other applications to go with it to change from residential to industrial. That's what they're trying to do. And same concept, all those applications will be processed together at the same time when they're ready to move forward. Great question, Chris. Yes. Go ahead.
Foundation general plan cycle that you talked about, is there a timeframe when the project has to come forward? Say it's been to GPAC, been to the planning commission, and still hasn't come to the board of supervisors, do they have just till the end of the year or a limited amount of time to finish the process?
Sure, great question. So there's two processes involved, step 1, step 2. The 76 FGP application for processing has 3 hearing bodies it has to go through. There's no time frame for when those have to be taken forward. We're just taking them as quickly as we can, as an order, and in digestible amounts that the board can actually hear. We don't want to load up with 15 of these at any board, so we're trying to do 4 or 5 at a time. So if they obtain initiation, if the board supports that vision, we're asking developers that within 6 months they submit the actual implementing project. What we're trying to avoid is a standalone general plan amendment that just changes the general plan land use, property gets sold off. We're trying to avoid speculation. We want to make sure that there's a real project behind what they're proposing to do. So we're requiring them in most circumstances to submit the full application for the actual project itself within 6 months after initiation. Yes.
But within those 3 steps, if they've gone through the first 2 steps, the GPAC and the planning commission, and they still haven't come to the board of supervisors, is there a time frame where, like with this agreement ending, do they have, like by the end of the year, do they have to move forward?
There's no time frame. 2 reasons. One is there's 76 of them. We just can't get to them all at the same time.
Right, no, I
So,
understand,
yeah.
but I think it's the developers holding up the project.
Sometimes for reasons. Well, here's the other purpose of this foundation cycle process is, and the 3 hearing bodies, is to hear from the communities, right? And some of the FGPAs that have come in, some of the revisions have changed along the way because of the feedback they're receiving from the communities. Maybe they want to go with a high-density, multifamily residential product, and maybe that's too dense for that community. They'll have heard that, and now they're downsizing. They're trying to do it less dense, based upon the community feedback or the feedback of the planning commission or directors and GPAC members. We're not going to hold them on forever. They're going to have to all be processed at some point. So if they drag it on too long, we'll make them move forward at some point just to get the termination. So these aren't going to be extended out for years and years and years.
Quick question then.
Yes.
So Richland has made it clear, we've met with them a couple of times.
Yes.
They've made it very clear that they're going to push forward with this zoning change for industrial,
Yes.
the residential.
That's their right to do that, yes.
Yes. And so what we're trying to define here is the timeline in which they plan on pushing forward. If we know they're going to do it, then sure.
I don't have a timeline. They're not beholden to any timeline. They can drag this out as much as they want.
They don't do it this year, they can easily do it next year.
It's an approved specific plan. The amendment is on their own time. There's no requirement for them to process anything. It's a little bit different than the FGP, as I mentioned. These are 2 different types of projects for 2 different reasons. The FGPAs have no vesting right, they have no approvals. They're trying to seek approvals, so it's on them to move these things forward as quickly as possible. The approved SPA, there's no requirement for processing it. Now, that being said, we have hundreds and hundreds of projects open throughout the entirety of this county. And we regularly go back, 3, 4, 5 years and evaluate these open projects. We'll reach out to the applicant and say, hey, do you guys want to move on? or try to force them to take action to move or withdraw the application. We don't want hundreds of open-ended applications on the county, so.
And because of time,
Yes.
thank you for what you shared with us. And for all the information, the Nuevo Focus Group, if we can get those information, and T, please get your information out as well. And thank you, John, for
Thank you
sharing
very
with
much
us.
for the time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
All right. Now, we need to hear from Animal Services. Thank you. Kelsey.
Yes, sir.
And Flood Control is next after that, if you're here.
Good evening. It's lovely to see all of you guys again. So a couple of quick updates, just in the essence of time here, that way if anybody does have questions. So thank you so much to District 5. We received more funding for the D5 Furry Foster Program, so hopefully people are going to be coming into the shelter to try to help support us a little bit more, getting animals out. Anybody that's not familiar with that program, we are supporting and paying the community to take animals out of our shelters to hopefully get them seen and viewed in the community. We pay up to 21 days and up to 2 pets. And if you guys, anybody that takes a pet out, if they are able to get that pet adopted within the first 14 days, there's also an adoption bonus. So it's been really helpful with some of our kittens and some of our larger dogs. So we're really, really excited to have more funding for that. We have had some community members come in asking for that program specifically, so thank you guys again. It's been a huge help. At the beginning of this month, we also started our pre-adoption program. We call it our DIBS program. It's also been a lot of fun. So if anybody comes in and they see an animal that is on a hold that does not have a microchip and isn't part of a case, they can pre-adopt those pets. We still don't release them until their hold is up, but we're seeing more success with people coming in seeing a pet, and instead of us saying, oh, this pet is available on the 25th, please come back, we're like, hey, pet's available on the 25th, would you like to adopt it today? Right, so they do all the paperwork and everything with us, and if the pet happens to get reclaimed by an owner, then we call the family back and say, hey, great news, it got reclaimed by its owner, let's come in and find you a different pet that'll fit what you're looking for as well. So we've been seeing good success with that over the last 2 weeks. I think we've only had less than a handful of pets that had DIBS on them that have not been picked up. So we're really excited to get that out and up and running. Our Dog Day Out program is still up and running. So we have dogs that people can come in and take them out on trips during the day. They take them out on a hike. It gets them out of the shelter for a couple of hours, reduces their stress, and helps them also get seen in the community. But this is more for community members that can't necessarily take a pet home for an extended period of time, right? So they can take them out, take them on a hike, go let them visit their friends, and we've been seeing a pretty good success rate with those pets getting adopted too after being seen in the community. So it's been a lot of fun. People are taking a lot of really cute pictures, and we get to load them up on their profiles on our website as well. So that's been a lot of fun. We still have our volunteer reading program going on every Wednesday afternoon. So that's still, it's a little bit slower than it was when we first started. So if anybody has any teens or people of all ages actually can come on in with a guardian or a family member and read to our pets. A lot of the little kids that do get to come in have been having a real good time with that. We have more veterinarians per diem that are in our pipelines to start with our department, which will hopefully help us assist the community a little bit more when it comes to getting animals that are out on foster, spayed and neutered to complete adoptions or provide other services as we can. Our vaccination and microchip clinics are still up and running weekly. Our programs team is in the middle, so all of our life-saving teams. So rescues, transports, adoptions, foster, that whole team is in the middle of finally hiring new team members. So we just got through interviews for the supervising portion of that chain. We're moving into senior team members, and then we're gonna be having line team members coming on. So we're gonna have more bandwidth for some of our life-saving programs. We're all super excited. It's been a long time coming. So we're hoping to have a full list of team members at the end of the month. So that's when those are supposed to be tying up. On top of that, we, in the last week or so, did have more shelter team members come on as well. So we have quite a few team members on in San Jacinto that are in the middle of training. So they're helping us clean, they're helping us move animals around and get them adopted as well. So as it's still in the middle of training, they're all brand new within 5 minutes. So at this point, we're just happy that they're showing up to work, and we're happy to have extra hands for help. I think that's all that I have for you guys. I do have Flyers at the back table for our dog day out and our Petco Love Lost, as well as a couple of business cards and information on the microchipping and vaccine clinics at the San Jacinto location. Anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am?
We've got to keep, excuse me, we've got to keep it short because of time. So just one question and then we'll move on from you. Thank you, Kelsey.
What are the possibilities when the dogs are picked up, and you know how they're located at a certain area in the residential, what are the possibilities of putting together a team or something to where we walk those dogs back to where they were picked up to see if that dog leads you to its home, rather than, you know, a dog there or either.
Are we talking about, like county team members or volunteer team members? Because I would love to do
Either
both.
or, some kind of a program to put this together. I think that would help a lot. A lot of people, they don't
Absolutely.
get on the website, and they don't even know where the shelter is.
So for our volunteer base, we do have a couple of our community volunteers that we actually get set up with microchip scanners that work and communicate with us and that do help do that. So if that's something that you're interested in, absolutely, come, let's talk. I would love to get something like that up and running.
I think it's important to do it. I think it
Absolutely.
would really help.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, let's chat. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. Thank you so much. And after the meeting, y'all can talk, and that's a good thing. Animal control is doing a good thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And next up, flood control. Call me. There we go. And then next up after that, we're going to have District Supervisor's Office for Crystal Razor.
All right, good evening, council members. Thank you very much. My name is Kami Goes with Riverside County Flood Control. I came to talk about a couple projects that we have in the community. The first one is the Lakeview Lateral D&E project. This is a storm drain project that's aimed at resolving flooding issues in the community. There's several floodplains that impact this community and provide widespread flooding issues. Extending north from Wolfskill all the way down south to below Water Avenue, and then from east to west, it's about 11th Street to 5th Street, which is near the existing dam. So that's the area that this project is aiming to help with the widespread flooding. The project aims to connect the existing dam on the east side to an existing channel on the west side. So we have Lakeview Dam, and then we have Nuevo Channel. And so this project is a storm drain that's just going to connect those two things. It's going to control the outlet of the dam, so it no longer has a kind of open free flow flooding, which causes that downstream impacts. And then Water Avenue being the direct connection between these 2 points is our preferred alignment. And there's also space along Water Avenue where we've identified an intermediate basin that could also capture a secondary floodplain and then also attenuate flows. So just for the location where it's the obvious connection point, straight path, and then has a good interception point for a basin, it hydraulically is the best alternative from an engineering standpoint. Now, from a community standpoint, there are other opinions. The district held a few community meetings. We talked to residents to collect their questions and concerns, which has been very helpful to help us shape this project and understand what we need to do and what we shouldn't be doing. Like I said, Water Avenue is the preferred alignment from an engineering standpoint. The biggest problem is it being a private road, we need permission from everybody in order to make this successful. So the attempt to get that permission is to make offers to everybody on the private road to get permission to build a storm drain. Their biggest concern was that they didn't want a public right of way, they don't want a public road, they want to keep it private, they want to keep it the way it is. And so our offer is to purchase from them an easement. So there would be an underground easement so that they would allow us to put the pipe underground, but the surface rights would remain there. So it would stay a private road. And we've been coordinating with Transportation Department, who agree that they have no plans on making this a public road, and this project won't provide an access for that either. So we're working on putting those appraisal packages together because we need to make an offer on every single individual property between that stretch, which is over 50 individual private owners that own whether the south half of water or the north half of water, where our alignment is proposed. Our design engineers just wrapped up that design, so we went through on every single property and identified what those limits are. We identified both temporary and permanent impacts, and so that could affect what the easement limits would be. The permanent impact is the storm drain. So if we're proposing to put a storm drain on your side of the road, that's a permanent impact. But if we're just talking about access, I need to be able to drive on the south half of the road in order to put the storm drain, the south half would be a temporary impact, meaning I'm not installing anything, nothing's gonna change there. It would be, you know, exactly the way it is. So we have to go and identify both those impacts on every single property. And so, yeah, engineers developed those limits, identified every single property, the level of impacts, and so now we're handing it off to real estate to hire an appraiser, come out here, do an appraisal study, find out what is the land valuation, and then we could assign that to every single property and give them an offer for that easement. We're looking to get responses back, whether positive or negative. There's gonna be some residents that are just gonna say no matter what. We've heard some residents that said, absolutely, we want this project. And so it's important for getting these offers out, get the responses back. And I'd like to, at some point, bring that to the committee so we can kind of look at it together and see, do we have a success here or not? Is there an overwhelming support for this, or is this, you know, do we have to think of another alternative if the majority of people in Water Avenue are not interested in partnering? So we're working on those appraisal offers, get it out there, get an official response back, and I can bring that back and we can continue to discuss the shape of this project. I'd like to add that the district does a lot of work in unincorporated areas, and we do a lot of work in private roadways. This is not, you know, something relatively new to us, although it could feel new to community members that are seeing this for the first time. It's not every day that a resident sees a storm drain project on their property, but we just finished a project, Lakeland Village in Lake Elsinore, which had several private roads on it. Same thing, engage with the community, talk to them what their concerns are, and shape our project around their concerns. In some cases, they wanted road improvements. In other cases, they said, we don't want any through traffic. We don't want to see any increased traffic congestion coming in, so we can accommodate that. We're not going to connect to other roadways. We're going to keep it private. Over here where they want improvements, we can pave it for you. Some places, you know, I like my dirt road, maybe just put a little gravel. We can make those accommodations. So there's a balancing act that we got to work on. Another project that we're actually in construction right now is Woodcrest Reinhardt in the Riverside area. Again, it's a storm drain project with tons of private roads, working with those residents, creating a win-win project. That's what we do. And so that's our goal. The other project I want to update is the Lakeview Lateral A and B project. So that's an existing channel that's extends from 12th upstream to the corner of like 11th and Contour. It's a dirt channel that's unimproved. Downstream, there's a concrete channel. And so this project will really just extend those concrete improvements up so that the dirt channel has proper capacity. And then we want to improve the collection at 11th and Contour, which is not the best right now. And then I'm also asking them to go a little bit further on Contour and address the collection at the top end of Berceau, which is a tree line, because we have residents that are concerned about what's getting in up there. And so that project can address all those flooding concerns. The update on that project is we finally hired a consultant. We don't have enough resources to take on all these projects, so sometimes we have to go to outside consultants, engineering companies. We hired Rick Engineering. They're going to help us do the design. We obviously manage them and oversee their work, but augmenting with consultants is just one way we can take on more projects. They started looking at design. They've got conceptual channel dimensions, so they're moving hot and heavy. I think timing-wise, that probably might happen before the Lake D&E project, just because we've got someone working on it, and the right-of-way is less of an issue over there. We already have the right-of-way for the channel, the existing dirt channel, and then 11th and Contour are public right-of-way, so we don't have private roads that we're dealing with over there. So that project might move on a little quicker than the D&E project. That's all the updates I have. Any questions?
We're good at good time. We're on time now, so thank you so much.
But if anybody has questions, I'll wait outside.
Yes, outside after the meeting. Okay. Definitely. Sure. Thank you, Comey. And Crystal. Yes.
For time purposes,
Yes.
I am going to be letting the representatives
Yes.
from Ken Calvert's office and from Cervantes' office
Yes.
go before me.
Okay. Ken Calvert's office, Jet Benavides. Yes. Welcome.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. I'm not used to facing this way. My name is Jet Benavides. I'm here today representing Congressman Ken Calvert. It's very nice to be here. It's my first time at the meeting, so it's nice to meet all of you. I have just very few things that I want to go over. Specifically, right now is community project funding time. So working through the appropriations bills. The budget has been approved already as far as some of those bills. and community project funding for the 41st district has also been approved. Now, I'm sure some of you guys have heard about the looming government shutdown. The House is expected to vote on that tomorrow to send it on over to the Senate. Congressman Calvert is expected to vote in favor of that because we do not want to see a government shutdown. With that being said, we're pleased to share that Congressman Calvert secured $67 million for the 41st district in the fiscal year 2026 appropriations bill that was approved. Now, I'm just going to go through some of the projects that are sort of local. Some of the projects include the $5 million for the I-15 express lane extension. We have $5 million for the Quill Valley septic to sewer conversion, and we have $2.5 million for the Scott Road and Bundy Canyon in Menifee. Those are just some of the projects. All of them are listed on the website, and I have all of my cards on me here. If anyone wants one of my cards, I am a direct communication with me and to the office and to the congressman. And we also have these little flyers here. They're official mail that talk a little bit about HR 1 or the big beautiful bill and what's in there. So I have all those flyers over there. If anyone wants one, let me know. And I have business cards on me and I can run them all around right now. So thank you all so much, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jet.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you can ask the question afterwards, please. Okay, thank you. Can we have Senator Sabrina Cervantes' office? Adonis, there we go. Adonis.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the council, community. My name is Adonis Galarza, representing Senator Sabrina Cervantes. As you all know, really quick updates. The legislative session for this year has concluded as of last week. 9 of our bills are heading to the governor's desk, and they have until mid-October to sign those bills and see if they will become into law. Secondly, we are currently launching and accepting applications for a Young Legislators program. We are inviting seniors and juniors, high school seniors and juniors from across the 31st Senate District to be part and to apply in this Young Legislators program. It is a once a month program where we're getting together and talk about civic engagement, public relations, change in our communities. They'll be speaking to local leaders, elected officials, professionals. They can apply through our website under the district tab, and applications do close tomorrow. They've been open for about a month already, and our teams have gone to every school board to announce as well. So New View is aware of this program. Thank you, and I hope you all have a good rest of your evening.
So, we talked a lot about vendors, et cetera, you're a state representative.
Correct.
Can we work with you, are you a resource to find out more about the bill that allows these vendors to do what they do?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, do you have a card?
I do, I will.
Adonis is going to pass out cards for y'all to please contact him for all your questions, because this community does need your support.
You got it.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Krista. All right, thank you, Krista.
Okay, hello everyone again. Crystal Reza, Legislative Assistant with the Office of Riverside County Supervisor Ex Gutierrez. I do have a few updates. I'm gonna try to be as fast as I can and as, okay. Nuevo Movie Night. So let's just get that one out of the way. We just selected a date where our final movie night of the year is gonna be November 14th. So mark that on your calendars. We are still working on the what movie we're gonna be playing. So as soon as we have that one, I should have, I'll be sending that out to everyone in the community so you guys can share it. That would be one of our events. And then also, I was asked to give an update on the beautification project. I did get this sent in just yesterday, so I'm gonna be very brief, get to it. Just give me 1 second because I have notes on my cell phone. Sure. Okay, so what you're gonna see is, you're gonna see the PowerPoint. So I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with the beautification project or not, but that's gonna give us a little, I guess, background on it, on what it is. So city beautification includes many types of projects for the initial phase of Lakeview Nuevo Beautification Plan, and we'd like to focus on community identity and points of entry. So we did have like a survey, I guess, put out, and these are some of the updates that they gave me for you. So aspects with most positive impact would be entry monuments were the most frequently mentioned as a positive impact element. And then some also mentioned a logo and a motto design and public art as additional impactful elements. So for the word cloud feedback, the words that resonated were rural, small town, peaceful, welcoming, community, horses, country living, and then there was some suggested additions, which were wildlife, freedom, and references to local culture and history. And some also wanted the wording to be simplified to avoid redundancy. For the preferred motto examples, it would be peaceful living, proudly Nuevo, where community meets country living, welcome to Nuevo, our peaceful rural community. And then generally, mottos with peaceful, rural, welcoming tones, they resonate the most with the neighbors. For the entry monument locations, many agreed that the suggested locations are good. And then additional suggestions were Juniper Flats turn, junctions along main arteries into town, high traffic entrances to better mark the community. And also for reflection of spirit of Lakeview Nuevo in initial designs, most said it was somewhat well or very well. Very few expressed uncertainty, suggesting more like refinement needed. There was very few. For the desired public art, strong interest in horse-themed art. Also mentioned murals reflecting local history and culture, nature-inspired art like plants, wildlife, and landscapes. And then additional suggestions were water features, parks and trails, lighting, community gathering spaces, and more horse-related imagery. Other comments and concerns were for request for community voting on final choices, more lighting for safety and visibility, emphasis on preserving rural character and wildlife. So the overall summary that the residents gave feedback on were entry monuments are highly supported, but placement should be strategic at key gateways. Public art should emphasize horses, nature, and history. Community identity words like peaceful, welcoming, and rural are central. And there's a strong desire for participation in decision-making, like voting on narrowed options. So functional elements like lighting, trails, and water features are valued alongside aesthetic improvements. So that's a little bit of the update that I am able to share with you today. That was shared with me. They were, unfortunately, they weren't able to make it today, but we did want to give an update as part of our office. So if you have any questions in regards to the beautification, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'll forward it to the indicated people. Yes?
So, I think as a lot of us have discussed, we want to take action.
Right.
I think we've got enough information
Yes.
now, and I think we get enough things to, how are we going to boil it down and then start to get the funding to take some steps?
Right.
And I'm on the committee, so
I
I
know.
should know.
Yeah, so those are the, like I said, I received this yesterday. That's something that I am gonna relay to them. So hopefully we can
Can I reach out
get.
to you and maybe we get Queen Kelly and
Yes.
Jennifer, the
Yeah.
four of us can talk?
Perfect, yeah, sounds good. So that's part of my update for the Nuevo beautification. And for my final update is for, it's called Bienestar. They are a food distribution service that we have partnered with and have funded. Unfortunately, I was unable to bring a flyer today because there were some issues with the QR code and that wasn't made yet. But they did give me a date for this, and this is free produce distribution for District 5 beginning next week. It's sponsored by Supervisor Gutierrez. The community of Nuevo will receive a total of 6 distributions once every other month. The first distribution event for Nuevo is Thursday, October 2nd, and that is at 9 a.m. at the New View Library. Distributions are drive-through style, so you drive in with your car, we place the free produce in your car, and then you drive off. Registration is required. You can pre-register by going to our website and finding the link And the QR code on the flyer, once we have that ready for you. The flyer is pending, so we will send that, I will send it to,
Well, we could send it to us here at the MAC, and
Yes.
then we also on the Nuevo Focus Group can
yes,
also put
so
up the
just
Nuevo
write that
page.
date down. It is October 2nd,
And-
9 a.m. Feel free to share with the community. And then also really important, and if anyone would like to volunteer, we are gonna be in need of volunteers for that day. They do have to arrive by 7:30, 8 a.m. at the latest. And that's just to help, with the boxes and help the community. And I know if you guys have any questions, feel free to stick around. I'm still gonna be wrapping up at the end, but I just wanna respect everyone's time.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty. We're at 7:55. Council member reports, comments. Council members may report on meetings with members of the public, county department staff, local agency staff, and/or provide items of interest to the public and council. Members also may request that items be placed on a future agenda for consideration and possible action. And Lisa, you're up.
I'm up.
Yes.
Okay, I want to say thank you to Marshall Locke. I saw the video that you did, and I think we're getting a good response. I saw it had a lot of views. I think we all, as a community, need to get together and shoot a couple of videos here and there. Stonebridge is coming in strong. We, as a community, need to do likewise. So I recommend that everybody go full force and publicize whatever you can about them. We don't want the warehouses, and we need to let it be known.
You're here.
Thank you, Lisa. Will Martin.
I'd like to formally request a revisit with my meeting with Supervisor Gutierrez that was canceled on last Friday, last minute. I see a lot of the same things happening over and over again, sitting here meeting after meeting after meeting. The community's asking for action, and I just don't see it happening. So I would like that meeting with Supervisor Gutierrez, and I'm also going to request Supervisor Gutierrez is here at the next meeting. That being said, agenda items, I provided a laundry list to the county back in March. And the last 3 agendas, I haven't seen 0 of any of that laundry list on here. So I would ask my laundry list to be pulled back up and we start taking action.
Thank you, Will. Samantha.
I just had one thing to say because I did attend that meeting regarding the Bridge Street Ramona Expressway. And I did specifically request that they send me a copy of the PowerPoint presentation that they did. So my email is on the back of the agenda if anybody would like to have a copy of that presentation so they can see what their plan is. Feel free to email me and I will send out a copy.
And I want to say thank you for everyone being here. It's been a long 2 months before we got here, but somewhere along here we made it here together. So thank you for being here. And really, the video that Marshall put out, I see is very beneficial. We all see it as very beneficial to the needs of our community, the needs of our town. We are needing to continue to stay together, continue to focus on what we need to focus on, and treat ourselves as putting ourselves first, so that we know what we want and how we want to do it, how we need to address some of the developments that come into the community. As they're coming into the community, as we heard from John Hildebrand, there's a certain process to it, but I understand that in this process, we all have to remember we have a voice to tell them what we want and what we need. And so I just want to say that and thank you for being here, and thank you for being here and expressing your concerns. And those are here, and we're going to do that, put together some type of solution for what we need for our community, because we all are a community of family. And so being a community of family, we got to consider all of our needs and what we can do business-wise, residential-wise, and because we're Nuevo Strong, many things can happen when we're all together. And thank you for being here. That's all I have to say. And with that being said, the meeting is adjourned at 7:58. See you guys next time. And be safe out there.